we have right off the top, this is an interesting question because it sort of gives you the difference in markets. Yes guy, no guy. Isaac Howard will finish 2025, 2026, the next season guy, with more points than Easton Cowan.
Did you mean Ike Howard?
Yes.
Then I say yes guy.
Isn't that interesting? Because really, they're kind of the same prospect, aren't they?
Same kind of prospect. I mean, it's interesting. You got the most decorated, in some ways, U.S. college player, and Ike Howard, the reigning Hobie Baker Trophy winner, and you've got one of the most decorated junior players out of the CHL in Easton Cowan, who was the best player on the team that won the championship, the Memorial Cup. But I'm just, having just had that conversation with Tom Gazzola out in Edmonton, the reason I would pick Howard if I had to bet on this, Howard's a year older. He's 21 and Cowan's 20, which is, in development, that means something, right? A year is a big deal.
Well, also NCAA.
Yeah, a year is a big deal. And the other reason is they're going to give Ike Howard, it looks like, an incredible opportunity out of the gate here.
That's my point. Why aren't we not talking about Easton Cowan being in the top 6 in one of those two spots?
He might be
that are open, but nobody seems to go there, do they?
I've been saying it, like the easiest way for Brad to solve Brad Treliving's problem of a new top 6 forward that he doesn't have yet is for Easton Cowan to become that guy right out of the gate, right out of training camp.
I think if you don't do that from the start, you almost dig yourself into or paint yourself into a corner.
Well, he's got to become it though, Jim. Like you can't just give it to him.
I'm not anointing him, but I want to see him there.
Yeah.
And much like I did with Nyes, you start him up top, you drop him down, and then. But I think you want to take a look at him there, don't you?
Oh, he'll get a look. I'm sure he'll get a look in training camp and in preseason games, and he might even get a handful of regular season games, and he might get more than a handful if it goes well. But it looks to me like, Ike Howard had negotiating power, right? To choose to leave Tampa and sign with the Oilers. There was a negotiation there, as Tom pointed out, and it appears that part of that negotiation, although I'm sure it's a very fluid thing, is that we're going to give you a chance to play on the NHL roster right out of the gate. And guess what? Given your track record, we're going to give you a chance to play with some of our best players right out of the gate.
Well, I mean, as soon as they acquired him and signed him, that was the word. He's going on that line.
Yeah.
And the Easton Cowan thing is no.
Well, I don't know if it's a no. I wouldn't call it a no. I think he'll get opportunity. I think it's smart. Now, I would not anoint the 21-year-old kid as my first line left winger. I'm
just sort of talking about the difference in marketplace.
Yeah. Well,
and how two guys who are quite similar in terms of their ceiling are viewed differently in two different marketplaces to some.
Well, how about this? How about the difference in the leverage that a college kid has who had the ability to become a free agent and choose his destination if he so chose?
Well, that's another piece of the file.
Yeah.
As to why that's probably, I'm not going to say a better route, but an interesting option.
It's a good option if you want a little bit of power over your situation. And guess what? This could work out really well for Ike Howard. And it also could work out really well for Easton Cowan. And I think
it should work out for both of them.
Yeah, they're both really good players with really good motors. But if I had to bet, I'd say, hey, the guy playing with McDavid might get more points.
So you said yes guy, and I agreed with the yes guy. Now to set up the next one, there's some talk about Mitch Marner's the fact that he's from Toronto, sort of added to the criticism, hometown kid and playoff failure by the team. We have to underline that. So Ryan Reeves got into this. Let's take a listen.
And Mitchie earned the right to go wherever he wants, and he's dedicated a lot of his career, his whole career to Toronto, and a hometown guy, and he's poured everything he had into it, and sometimes it's just time to move on. There's not much else to say about that. I'm happy for him. He deserved the contract he got. I wish him the best here for sure.
Do you think he gets unfair treatment from the fans? I mean, he's getting rocked pretty good by people.
I mean, I think they can be a little ruthless to him. I guess just because he's the hometown guy, and sometimes fans want to point fingers at somebody. And I think. Yeah, I think there's two sides to the fans in Toronto. I think there's the ones who just want to win so bad that they're willing to drag anybody through the dirt, and then there's just the loyal fans that just want to cheer on a good team. Unfortunately, there's a lot of fans there, right? So you get a lot of both.
A lot of concerns, the best way to sum that up. So the yes guy, no guy question is, Mitch Marner's hometown heritage led to increased criticism from the fan base. Yes guy, no guy.
That's a massive no guy.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Bigger. I mean, I don't see how that has anything to do with it. I mean,
No guy.
it's a
There you
big
go.
no guy. Thank you, JP. Play it louder. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't play it any louder.
No guy.
There we okay, yeah, yes
Yeah,
guy.
I like that.
No guy.
Big no guy. Look, that's a crazy argument to me. Like it's got nothing to do with where he's from. It's got nothing to do with, anything to do with his address, his, where he comes from, where he is now. It's got everything to do with, the acrimony in the contract negotiations that happened when he was with the Maple Leafs that led to him playing on a number that a lot of people didn't like for a core four that was overpriced, that hamstrung them from adding the pieces they needed to become a better team in the playoffs. And then it's also this, Jim. It's very simple. 3 numbers. In 18 games, 5, 6, and 7 in the playoffs, 0 goals, 6 assists, 6 points. Those 3 numbers, 0, 6, 6.
Yep.
Okay? That's what this is. It's about not performing when it matters. And that's why people were hard on him, because he was making money that suggested he should have performed when it mattered. That's the open and shut case. There's mean people out there that go way overboard. I understand that. But it's all about not coming through in games you needed to win.
Well,
and they didn't win them.
And the sample size was large enough, more than large enough.
That's 18 games.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
Well, I'm talking about years.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
9 years.
Yeah.
Right. 9 years, 9 different chances. I mean, there were a few ups, but a lot of downs.
There's just no way that you could, after that 9-year sample size, return to the scene of the crime with the core four. It's impossible.
Well, they wanted to, Jim.
I know.
The team wanted to.
I know, but it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, you tell that to Brad Treliving. He wanted to re-sign Mitch Marner. It was Mitch Marner that decided not to re-sign in Toronto, not the Leafs.
Well, we wish them well.
Yes.
Both sides of that. It was a tough view. Yes guy, no guy number 3. Major League Baseball should introduce a salary cap to increase parity in the league.
I'm a no guy on this.
Boy, we are in agreement.
Are we?
Yeah, salary cap is I understand it. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't need the economics of why my team has to do certain things. I have my own set of accounts and my bank book, and I do that at home. I don't need to do that for entertainment purposes either. And there's always a way around it anyway.
Yeah.
Unless you've got a flat cap. And in this marketplace, when you're reducing Toronto to what Arizona or Utah can do, or Carolina, a less market, how does that sell in this market? Maybe it's great over there, but it's not here. And the same for baseball. If you've got the Yankees and you've got the Dodgers, those 2 cities alone have their own set of economics that don't apply anywhere else in the world, really. Why do you want to reduce them?
I'm with you. Look, the salary cap's a big reason why Mitch Marner got the blowback he got for making the money he felt he should make, right? The salary cap in the NBA right now, Jim, now that they've hardened the cap, it's not completely hard, but it's a lot harder than it used to be with this first apron, second apron system that no one wants to hear about, but every team is responding to. I mean, that's been a nightmarish scenario. Look at the Celtics divesting themselves of players because of the salary cap. And you're essentially penalizing a well-built team that did the right things to procure the good players that won them a championship, and now they got to divest. I don't understand why you want to penalize the really smart teams so that the really dumb teams, and there are plenty of them, can kind of have a level playing field. That doesn't make sense to me. I think in the NHL, all we talk about is the math most of the time. That's not great for the game. I hope that Major League Baseball does not go down that road, even though obviously the commissioner and the owners he works for would love to see it.
Well, and that's a union. That union has fought tooth and nail for pretty well everything over the last 40 or 50 years. I don't see any collapse there. By the way, and I don't usually do this, but Al's brother, who I thought was Atlantic City bound, wants to participate. And on the Marner issue, he says, no guy, Marner's contract negotiation was the issue. Hyman was a hometown kid who was revered even after he left. Good point.
Good point, Al's brother. Al's brother rolling down Interstate 81 as we speak, chiming in via YouTube Live. You have to love it.
Yeah, I mean, there he is. He's all wired up in the back seat, or maybe he's in the front seat.
Maybe he's driving. Let's hope he's not driving.
Look out. What else do we have here? Oh, yes guy, no guy. The Blue Jays should trade for Zac Gallen, 7-9, 5.15 ERA, 135 WHIP with Arizona. Starter.
You know what? This guy's intriguing. He's got to be a yes guy or among the yes guys that they could trade for.
Absolutely.
I mean, Zac Gallen. There's a lot of speculation that obviously Arizona, they're hovering around 500. What are they? They're like 9.5 games out of the NL West lead right now, with the Dodgers obviously in the driver's seat there. But the interesting thing about the Diamondbacks, Jim, and I think the fact that the deadline is only 3 weeks away, will the Diamondbacks be motivated to make trades if they come out of the All-Star break and win a few? They go on a bit of a run.
Yeah.
Right now, they're only 4.5 games out of a wild card spot. We've seen Zac Gallen quoted in some publications saying he doesn't want to be part of the trade talks. He wants this team to get back in the race. And so I think there's a lot of those teams that have really attractive trade pieces like Zac Gallen, a guy who can absolutely mow people down. He had, what did he have the other night? 10 strikeouts the other night. He had a stretch where he played the Yankees and Mets with phenomenal stuff and was just striking out guys by the half dozen. And yet, will he be on the market? There's some speculation he will be, but it's not yet determined. I think there's a lot of those teams that are, should we sell or should we, keep the status quo and hope that we can make a run here? That might hurt the Blue Jays' chances of getting all the guys they want at the deadline.
The thing I like about the Blue Jay acquisition list is nobody cares what the cost is. There's no concern at all.
Not us.
No, but in all the narratives that are around, nobody's really worried about what goes out.
This is a desperate situation here. Shapiro and Atkins are approaching their 10th anniversary running the place.
There's another sample size.
Yeah, they haven't won a playoff game, Jim, so they might want to win one.
Yeah, good point. Yes guy, no guy, and this will be number 5. Despite the 1-4 start, the Argos will still make the CFL playoffs.
I'm going to be a yes guy on this because I believe that Chad Kelly can be the savior, even though there's maybe some evidence that it might not be looking too good for Chad Kelly because it's been a while since he's played. He obviously broke the leg in the big game last year, and it's still bothering him, and he still hasn't emerged as the force that he once was when he was the most outstanding player of the league a couple of years ago. But I'm sure the Argos are hoping that he can really be the savior here, and if he gets back to something resembling, top Chad Kelly, then they're a playoff team without a doubt, aren't they?
Well, they sort of are now. They're
everybody.
They're 1-4 with Ottawa. I mean, 3 get in unless there's a crossover.
Yeah, the East is, Montreal is so far and away the best team in the East that you're really not too worried about a 1-4 record. Hamilton's 2-2. They're both, Ottawa and Toronto are both 1-4.
I think maybe the better question would be the Argos could still finish second, which I'm going to say no guy to. I think that's Hamilton's.
Well, I mean, look, they're like, it's not exactly an insurmountable lead here. Hamilton's got 2 wins, Toronto has 1. So
I just like the Cats.
Do you?
Well, Lawler is a great ad.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, and look, the Argos are. It's not just about the quarterback, right? Like obviously they've reconstructed the defense and it's been having some problems. Like they've given up more points than anybody in the league right now. Albeit it's not, it's early in the season, but that's not a great start to the year when you've kind of reconstructed your defense. But if they can kind of find some semblance of form on the defensive side of the ball and Chad Kelly gets back, I like the chances.
Yes guy, no guy, number 6. The Leafs should be aggressive buyers for a top 6 forward.
I'm a yes guy. I don't see why you wouldn't be. Now, what are they going to trade for one is the question. Would Easton Cowan be part of that? Like, we've been talking about, could Easton Cowan be that top 6 forward? What are the chances of that? This is where you have to rely on your instinct as a management group, and you have to make that call about, can this kid help us now, or is the best route to sell this kid and find somebody that can help us now? Maybe there's another route, an in-between route there where they part with whatever else they have, a meager list of assets right now for a team that's been throwing first-round draft picks out the window for quite some time and doesn't exactly have the most robust prospect pool in the game after Fraser Minton went out the door last year at the deadline. So I don't know. How do you see it, Jim? Do you like the aggressive buying? Or is it more like
I dispute the word aggressive.
Okay.
I think they should be pursuing, but I wouldn't. All the chips don't go into the middle of the table for me. If it's there, it's there. You've got some time. You've got cap space. You've got time. So it wouldn't be like you have to have this guy by September 1st. I wouldn't do that.
Okay, I like that.
I want to see Easton Cowan too. I want to see what we have there.
I agree. That the easiest route to a good top 6 forward would be if they got one in-house in Mr. Cowan.
Yeah, I mean, they've traded enough prospects away. Maybe time to live and die with one.
I mean, not unless he can play. I don't want to. He's only sticking around for me if he's not a prospect. He's a pro.
Okay, I agree with that.